What is going on, you guys? Welcome back to the Monster Bass channel. I'm Jeff Burlingame with Burley Fishing, and I'm here to talk to y'all about the Z-Man freaking Takeover box. An absolutely insane box full of value, but specifically, we're gonna talk about how to rig everything in the box and how the box was made, so you really only need that box and a fishing rod and reel and line, but then you can go catch some fish. Super easy setup. This is gonna be a blast to go through. Of course, before we do, if you haven't done so yet, be sure to subscribe to the Monster Bass channel. Tons of great creators on here making awesome videos you're not gonna wanna miss. And if you got an extra millisecond, hop on over to Burley Fishing, throw me and my buddy Paul a subscribe as well. We appreciate you guys so much for doing so. Let's get into it. All right, so I already opened this box so that I could do an unboxing on my channel. You'll see it if you hop over there. But let's get into the baits that we have, and then let's go rig them up. And we'll talk about where we're gonna fish them, how we're gonna set them up, all that jazz. You know the drill. All right, number one. So let's start with these guys right here. First off, we got the Cross Eyes Chatterbait. That one right there with the wire brush guard, fantastic. And we got the Cfl Chatterbait, which is a bladed football jig. Now these two bladed jigs right here are absolutely heavy duty. We've got one built for running through cover like rock, especially in rivers. And then we've got one built for running around cover and wood specifically with this nice brush guard. So two awesome heavy duty cover options that you can use if you love throwing chatterbaits or bladed jigs. Check those babies out right there. PB&J, green pump, fantastic colors. Love to throw these in dirtier waters, these in any water whatsoever because it's green pumpkin, it's just magic. But what are we gonna rig on these as trailers? Well, it just so happens that we got a ton of stuff in this month's box that we can use to rig right away. So I figured, why get out my other plastics when I can just use what's in the box? Let's do it. Hey, and the four baits that we got this month that we're looking at would be the Finesse Shads in Pearl. It's a straight tail, little tiny finesse swim bait. Razor Shads in Fire Craw, gonna be a fantastic spring bait coming up here real soon. That has an inline tail rather than a paddle tail, and it's a jointed swim bait. We got the shorter paddle tail 3-inch minnows here in the color The Deal. And then we've got the green pumpkin goat. This is the upsized goat. It's 3.75 inches. Kind of a straight body craw style, more like a rage tail menace from Strike King, for example. So how are we gonna rig these? I can tell you what, right now, what looks like magic, green pumpkin, and a nice straight tail. Tell you what looks amazing right now, green pumpkin plus green pumpkin. That little straight body craw style is perfect for rigging on chatterbaits bladed jigs. Now you can rig this one of two ways. We can rig it as is, and you can see right now if I push this all the way up, it's a nice length. We could also trim the body of this so that it would look maybe more like that right there, where the claws are just barely coming out or barely visible. I'm gonna rig it as is. I kind of like the claws being exposed beyond the skirt. I think that looks great. If you like them being flush with the skirt, there you go. These are segmented, just cut it. Nice and easy. If you have a solid pair of scissors for cutting like braided line, for example, trimming these things down is super easy. Just snip, snip, done. The other option that we have here is that we can rig this way. So you're gonna get like this natural kind of kicking action, which is gonna look really good. Or we can rig it this way, where it's kind of more like a paddle tail or swim bait, just with a jointed tail on it. Both great options. I like rigging it this way when I wanna get the bait down there a bit further, and then I'll go this way, that like horizontal fashion, if I don't mind the bait riding up a little bit, especially if I'm going like over top of cover or something. So we're gonna rig it that way. I'm gonna pretend that I'm going over the top of some pretty heavy cover here. And again, we're gonna use this as is. So I'll just take my bait here, push past this brush guard, which is actually pretty easy to push past, as you can see. You just push it into the wire there. And we can see that we wanna run the hook almost all the way through the bait. So I'm gonna just push her on up. I get down to this like third to the last segment here. I'm gonna punch through, and then we're gonna pull her on up. Now, the key with Z-Man plastics, with that Elastec, when you get to a wire bait keeper like that, you just wanna grab the plastic and pull it over top. So I'm grabbing it and just pulling it over the top of that. It can be kind of a pain in the butt, but you get used to it. I mean, the good news is it's not going anywhere once it gets up over that thing. Just be sure not to stab yourself. When in doubt, you can just grab it from the base here and just shove her on in there. Okay, so we got her all rigged up. I like that. This is a hefty setup. If I'm going after bigs, I mean, this is the play to go. Look how far that extends beyond the skirt. That's gonna give me some nice added action, visibility, and something for a nice big old monster to chomp on. I love it. This is a fantastic setup and one that would be my go-to for sure. If you wanted to do this without trimming this down, the goat does come in smaller sizes, so you can always just get the smaller ones. Boom, there we go, one bladed jig down. All right, next up, let's rig up that CFL Bladed Jig. I think I'm gonna go with the Deal Paddle Tail here. Not too bad of a color combo. You got PB&J, then you got some green pumpkin, hints of blue. I think this will do well. Mostly I wanted to go for it because of this 3-inch size is gonna pair up better with this shorter hook shank. You can see it's a little bit shorter than what even the cross eyes was. So if we line it up, it's gonna look like that. And you can see the tail doesn't extend too far beyond the hook or the skirt, which is what I want. Generally like to go like dark color plus dark color, light color, or a dark light combo can be really nice too. That can really stand out. It can pop in the water. Now those lead bait keepers are super easy to pull up a Z-Man plastic over. And there we go. So we got this baby rigged up. She's gonna look like that. There we go. Pretty heavy duty, gonna have a hard kick to it, gonna have a ton of action. This would be nice, again, I mentioned earlier, like running along a riverbed. So if you got tons of rocks, football heads do amazing around rock cover. I know, for example, near us, if we went out to like Lake St. Clair, there's gonna be tons of structure, tons of rock, all of that. If I get to that rocky area, I can run this thing along the bottom and just bump everything and draw a nice strike. These two setups right here are a bit heavier duty. I want to throw them on a bigger setup and a medium heavy. So maybe like a 7.3, 7.6 and get a nice bomb cast out there. I'm going to go on a higher gear ratio reel so that I have more control to get this blade vibing early and draw those strikes. So what I prefer is like an 8.3-1. Currently my setup is a Lose Tournament MP, or you can go with the Tournament XP. Fantastic reels, super heavy duty, great for handling something like this. And I'm always running braid to fluoro when I'm rocking those bladed jigs as well. Fluorocarbon, I think, just gets the bladed jig down where you want it to be, and the braid gives me the backbone on the reel as well as easy castability when I'm bombing it out there. All right, so in this box, we've got 2 more jig heads to throw. We got the Willow Vibes, and we've got the Swim Bait Eyes. So there's that Swim Bait Eyes. Looking awesome, just a lead base with a gold eye. Fantastic, simplistic, decently stout hook. And then we've got the more finessey approach, finessier hook, a little longer shank there, wire bait keeper, and that little willow blade at the front. So this is a finessier chatterbait option, and it's a 1/4 ounce in pearl. So what would we rig these up with? I'm gonna take that Razor Shads and Fire Craw, rig it up to that Swim Bait Eyes. I think that's an easy combo that will absolutely bang. Okay, that one was a bit more of a pain in the butt to actually get up over those lead bait keepers because it was the double bait keeper with the 2 hooks. But there we go. So what we've got right here is a nice jointed little swim bait with that inline tail. So this is gonna be easy to rock lower in the water column. But you can see by the eye presentation there, this looks really good, pretty realistic. I really love the position of that line tie there, and we've got a stout enough hook. I mean, this is it's a bigger bait. We're probably going for some bigger fish. I think it looks fantastic. And with that Fire Craw presentation, check this baby out in spring and fall. You're probably gonna get some good hits on that. So let's go ahead and get finessey with the last piece here. So we got the Willow Vibe and we got the Finesse Shads. So they're gonna go hand in hand. We got a pearl head, we got a pearl plastic. Let's do it. Got a nice skinny body with this plastic, so be sure to be careful about how you're rigging it so as not to make it all crooked. Nice and easy. Then just take that Elastec, pull it up over that bait keeper, and there we go. Nice, easy rig. And you can see it's got like a nice little belly to it there. It's got a straight tail on it. This is gonna be a super subtle, finessey presentation. I think it's gonna be fantastic. If you got some finicky bass, you're dealing with that colder weather, ice melt, whatever, you know, you get into like March, especially March, April, this is gonna be a great bait to throw around. Look at that thing. That's fantastic. Still a decent enough like length. It's a smaller profile, but decent length that it can definitely draw some bigger fish. I love this setup. That's awesome. All right, what are we throwing these things on? For the finessey setup with that willow vibe. I still want a higher gear ratio. It gives me more control to get the blade vibing and doing its job. So I would probably still throw this on the same chatterbait setup. Medium heavy, maybe slightly unnecessary since it's finessey. So if you potentially have a lighter rig, that would be a way to go. I'd like this on like a medium bait caster setup, high gear ratio, and again, just go braid to fluorocarbon, but go with the lighter line. So if you go like 15 or 20 pound braid, that would be great, down to like a 10 to 12 pound fluorocarbon. This thing will rock it. As for this guy, just throw it on your jig setup. It's a swim bait jig. So whatever you're using for that, probably a medium heavy 7.3, 7.6 for your jig setup. And you're probably going heavier braid, so 30 pound plus. And then if you're getting finicky fish, go ahead and tie some fluorocarbon to the end of that and you'll be good, especially since we're moving this bait around. And there we go. Boom. All sorts of stuff. Mostly jigs and plastics. So if you pay attention to the setup from the box, we've got the super heavy duty from the football jig to the cover setup with the cross eyes, chatterbait, and you can utilize all the plastics with all the baits in here very easily. 4 plastics, 4 jigs. There we go. So here's our 2 bladed jigs. Then we had that finesse with the willow vibes, and we had the straight up swim bait jig with the razor shads. Couple of great combos. Definitely gonna get the job done. Definitely gonna catch you some fish. You guys are gonna have a fantastic time with this box. So if you haven't renewed your subscription or picked up a subscription from Monster Bass, do so in February. This is probably the best box we've ever dropped. I am like drooling over it. And you guys are gonna love it too, and it's gonna catch you a ton of fish. So be sure to get the box. And of course, if you guys like the content, be sure to subscribe to the Monster Bass channel. Go check out Burley Fishing if you would. We appreciate you for doing so. And then come check out our lives. Monster Bass is live most Thursdays. We're live every Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern. So hop on over to Burley Fishing Thursdays at 8 p.m. Eastern, or right after the Monster Bass Live, come over. We'll be nice and warm and welcoming, and we're talking to super cool people in the fishing industry. You're not gonna wanna miss it. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you're having an awesome day, and we'll see you on the next video.